walking out to the greatest showman as he makes and the fans of his main event affair stand when it comes to that. 6 years of age as he gets set to collide against Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, here's a guy that, well,
he literally looks like he went for a light jog.
This was a sparring match, and he had fun today. We didn't get the knockout, but maybe we get it in Mayweather versus Logan Paul, too.
When are we booked doing? We'll fight right now. I'll take a dive. We'll do the revenge match.
How you going to take a dive before I take
a smiling like that, too.
Oh,
well. Paul. The only Floyd Mayweather.
Referee
gave the instruction on the back.
The spectacle is about to begin.
Yes.
The bell in round one, scheduled for 8, officially sanctioned. I understand that Mayweather versus Paul is actually being sanctioned.
4 champs, please. Anything bad, just all guns.
Fun now is Floyd, and they both tie up. Right as Logan Paul tries to pressure Floyd, trying to unload now, throwing punches from different angles. Floyd covering up. Logan going Floyd. None of those shots are landing clean.
Ladies and gentlemen, boxing fans, casual viewers, and everyone who couldn't believe their eyes when one of the greatest boxers of all time stepped into the ring with a YouTuber turned fighter. Welcome back to the channel where we break it all down, the punches, the mind games, the hype, and even the mistakes you never noticed. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most bizarre yet most talked about spectacles in recent boxing history, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Yeah, that fight. The one where Logan Paul survived 8 rounds with arguably the most defensive genius the sport has ever seen. The one that had boxing purists shaking their heads. The one that made Logan go viral again. And the one that made Floyd an even richer man than he already was. But here's the kicker, you probably missed a lot of mistakes in that fight from both fighters. And those mistakes, they tell a much deeper story than what we saw on the surface. So grab your gloves, tighten your wraps, and step into the ring with us as we break down the mistakes you ignored in Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Let's go! Before we dissect the technical mistakes, we gotta acknowledge the elephant in the room. This wasn't your typical boxing match. No judges, no official winner, an exhibition, but the hype? Oh, it was very real. Mistake number 1, treating this fight like it was just entertainment, because beneath the circus lights, both men had agendas. Floyd wanted to secure the bag, Logan wanted respect in the fight game. But what they didn't count on was how unorthodox this would become. This wasn't just boxer versus entertainer. This was old school versus new school, legacy versus likes, perfection versus promotion. And the first mistake people ignored? Underestimating how weird that combination would look in the ring. Section 2, Floyd's miscalculated size strategy, 330. Now let's talk about Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated legend, 50-0. A man who made Canelo Alvarez look like an amateur, who dismantled Manny Pacquiao with ring IQ alone, and yet, he made some surprising choices in this fight. Let's start with the obvious, Logan Paul was huge compared to Floyd. We're talking 6'2" versus 5'8", a 35-pound weight difference. That's not minor, that's almost cruiserweight versus lightweight. So what mistake did Floyd make? He underestimated how difficult it would be to close the distance against a bigger, longer, and unorthodox opponent who had nothing to lose. Floyd thought he could walk Logan down like he did with Conor McGregor, but Logan's awkwardness, size, and clinch-heavy style disrupted Floyd's timing more than he expected. He couldn't just potshot and pivot his way through 8 rounds. He had to grind. And for Floyd, grinding against a big dude who came to survive, not win, that's not his comfort zone. Section 3, Logan's energy dump, 6 o'clock. Let's talk Logan Paul, internet star, millionaire vlogger, WWE performer, occasional boxer. He had the reach, the youth, the weight, but he made a huge mistake early on that almost cost him the whole show. Logan came out swinging, fast, wild, aggressive. He threw nearly 20 punches in a single burst at the end of round 1. And then, you saw it. By round 2, he was gassed. That was mistake number 1 for Logan, massive energy dump. You can't throw bombs at Floyd Mayweather like he's another YouTuber. You'll miss 90% of your shots, and the other 10% will be rolled off the shoulder. And guess what? Floyd noticed. He didn't panic. He waited, because once Logan's gas tank was empty, Floyd started marching him down. Section 4, Floyd didn't go for the kill. Here's where the mistake was on Floyd's side again. he had opportunities. In the middle rounds, Logan was slow, tired, sloppy, but Floyd never pressed the gas. And no, that wasn't just because of the size difference. That was strategic hesitation. But was it a mistake? Maybe, because fans were watching. Hardcore fans, casuals, haters, everyone, and they expected Floyd to put on a show. Instead, what they got was a sparring session. That disappointed a lot of people. And for a guy who built his career on selling fights, Floyd's choice to not go for the KO may have been a missed opportunity to truly close the chapter on exhibitions. Section 5, Logan's Clinch Fest. Let's talk about the odd game. One of the biggest mistakes Logan made? Turning a combat sport into a cuddle session. From round 2 onward, every time Floyd got close, Logan tied him up, over and over again. Now yes, that's a smart tactic when you're tired and fighting someone slick, but it also turned the fight into an eyesore. The mistake wasn't clinching, it was relying on it so heavily that it became his only defense. It showed a lack of depth in his game. No pivoting, no feints, just jab, miss, clinch. That might work in an exhibition, but in a real fight, against a real boxer, that's a blueprint for disaster. Now back to Floyd. He smiled, he smirked, he danced, he even whispered to Logan during the fight. And while that was classic Mayweather charisma, it came at a cost. There were moments when Floyd's focus wavered, when he played around just a little too long. Why does that matter? Because Floyd is in his 40s now, and boxing isn't a sport where you can afford to lose focus even for a second. Against Logan Paul? No problem. But what happens if Floyd takes this exhibition lifestyle too far? It's a slippery slope, and this fight was the first time we really saw Floyd look, not slow, but careless. That's a mistake legends can't afford to make. The fans ignored the real lesson. Here's where we flip the perspective. A huge mistake the audience made? Missing the point of the fight. This wasn't about knockouts, or winning, or judges, or belts. This was about marketing, showmanship, money, and both men walked away laughing to the bank. Logan proved he could hang with a legend. Floyd proved he could get paid 9 figures fighting someone without a pro win. But fans? Many were angry, disappointed, confused, because they expected a fight when they were sold a product. After the fight, Logan went on social media saying he beat Floyd Mayweather. That's mistake number 10. You don't beat Floyd by surviving 8 rounds in an exhibition with no judges. But Logan, like many influencers, made the error of confusing survival with victory. In boxing, those are two very different things. Survival means you live to tell the tale. Victory? That means you outboxed, outscored, or stopped your opponent. Logan didn't do that, but he convinced a lot of fans he did. And that blurred the line between reality and performance even further. Section 9, the glove size rules. Confusion, 2100 hours. Another overlooked mistake, the confusing rules. This was an exhibition, so no judges, no winner, but they used 10-ounce gloves instead of the bigger 12 or 14-ounce gloves exhibitions typically use. That's a pro fight setup, without pro consequences. Fans didn't understand that. Some thought Logan had a real chance to win on points, but that wasn't even an option. The mistake? The promotion didn't make that clear enough. And confusion leads to frustration, which leads to backlash, and the fight's legacy suffered because of that. Section 10, Floyd's legacy took a hit, 23-30. Let's talk legacy. Floyd was 50-0. Untouchable. The blueprint. The